Okay, so before we begin this video, can you share your love story if you are comfortable to share? I'm not comfortable to share. So both my husband and I, we both are minimal. Tell me something about your family. One of my most asked question is, what do you do for a living? Hoard a lot of things. We used to buy a lot of things, but I'm going to be answering all the questions. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so this is a big deal for me. I am naturally a very private person, so for me to put myself out there like this does not come easy at all. I share bits and pieces of my life, the things that I buy, the things that I use on social media literally every single day. So naturally, it invites a lot of curious questions and assumptions about me. So I thought maybe why not do a proper get to know me video and answer all your questions. So I have all your questions here on my phone. I went through all the questions that you guys asked me. So if I skip your question, please don't be sad. It's because maybe I just don't want to answer the question, or maybe it's too personal. But yeah, I'm going to be answering all the other questions. So I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to go over the questions as they came in. But before we begin this video, if you like my vibe, if you like the videos that I make, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press that bell icon so that you don't miss another update from me. I also have an Instagram channel where I post a lot of stuff every single day. I will tag my account somewhere on the screen here. If you're on Instagram, I would love to have you as part of my Instagram family. Before we begin this video, I want to answer a few general questions like my name, age, and the other stuff that I keep getting asked. My name is Pooja. I go by Pooja Venkatesh or Pooja Reddy. I am 31 years old. My height is 5'5". I was born and raised in Bangalore, but my mother tongue is Telugu. My grandmother has roots from Chittor, so that's how my mother tongue is Telugu. We speak Telugu at home, but it's a mix of Kannada and Telugu. There's a bit of Bangalore slang in it. I am from Bangalore and I'm a Bangalore girl. One of my most asked question is, what do you do for a living? I'm a content creator. I've been doing this full time for a few years now. I switched my career from being a software engineer to becoming a full-time creator. I post videos on Instagram. I work with various different brands. I do YouTube. I also teach dance workshops regularly in the Bay Area. So pretty much this is what I do every single day of my life for a living. And I'm living my dream. The next question is, what do your parents do? My mom, she is working. She is a teacher in a school. My dad is retired, but he was working as a programming engineer in Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, HAL. I'm very upset for not knowing in-depth details about what he used to do because he never shared. He always said it is confidential, but he made I think part of the fuel tank for the rockets that was sent to the space. So yeah, I'm very proud of him. He's been working all his life in the same company and he was so dedicated. But he recently got retired and he's enjoying his life now. But yeah, that is what my parents do. Tell me something about your family. Like I said about my mom and my dad, I also have a younger sister who is currently working in a company and is living in Bangalore with my parents. So yeah, pretty much that is it that I can tell about my family at the moment. But yeah, we are a family of 4. Next question is, please share about all the plants in your garden. I will definitely do a detailed backyard tour on my YouTube channel. But for now, I have 2 varieties of apple trees: peach, cherry, orange, curry leaves, which is my favorite plant, then chilies, then I have a few varieties of spinach leaves. Then we also planted chikudkai, which is a vegetable and it's also called as broad beans in English. It still didn't like yield or anything. It's still a small plant. We just planted it a few weeks ago. So yeah, pretty much those are all the plants that I have in my backyard at the moment. The next question is, how do you manage to plan, shop, and keep your home so well organized? Both my husband and I, we are very minimalistic people. By that I mean we don't spend a lot of money on buying unnecessary stuff for us in general or for the house. So we like to save and invest on pieces that we both naturally love and feel like goes well with the house and the decor. So even if you see my wardrobe or my house, it will be very very minimalistic. I don't stuff my house with a lot of different things, so you will find just one statement piece here and there, and that is it. So how do I shop? So when we are investing a lot of money on different pieces, we'd like to take it very slow, especially when it's your own house. You don't have to rush in decorating your house the very first day you move in. It's been 3 years since we moved into this house, so we've been slowly buying each and every furniture as and when we can afford things. It took us pretty much 3 years to keep buying things for the house we've made. So how do I organize my house? So when you have minimalistic stuff in the house, it becomes very easy to clean. And also I love cleaning. I feel like it is very very therapeutic. So I keep clean my house once a week. And also my husband and I, we are very organized people. So we replace things back in its place. So there's not much to like clean or worry about when it comes to cleaning. So yeah, that's pretty much how I plan, shop, and keep my house organized. The next question is, why did you give up modeling? My god, this is a very long story. So I watched a lot of Bollywood movies growing up, danced to a lot of Bollywood songs, literally heavily influenced by Bollywood. I used to watch a lot of interviews and also follow a lot of pageants like Miss World and Miss Universe. And in all the interviews that I watched, the models who turned into actors would say that I started as a model and I was doing a lot of modeling contracts. And then some directors, some casting directors saw me on my cover photo or on a newspaper, and then they casted me. So basically, I wanted to be an actor, and I thought modeling would be an entry point into the acting field. So that is what was running in my head. Then in engineering, during college fests, usually you'll have like a fashion show and stuff. So I was a pretty underconfident girl in school and in college, but somehow I gathered some courage and I participated in this fashion show audition for my college. And I walked for the audition, and after my walk, everybody in the room started praising me. They said, your walk was so good, you had that swag, loved the way you had that attitude and everything. So with those compliments, I suddenly started to get a lot of confidence in me. I felt like there is something in me that people like. Then I did a little bit of photo shoot from one of my college seniors, and we took a lot of pictures. But still, I was getting a lot of flack back in the house because my dad did not like what I was doing, and he always questioned, what are you trying to do, why are you doing all of this? But my mom, she was extremely supportive. If given a chance, she would have made me a model or an actor by now. We did a lot of back and forth in the house. I tried to explain to my dad that I really love being in a creative field because I enjoy a lot. I think I have a lot of potential. But my dad, he was so confused. He was like, I'm paying so much money for your college and for your education, and this is what you want to do. So at that point in time, there was nobody in my circle or in my family who would have the courage to step into another field apart from being a doctor or an engineer. So it was very difficult for me to convince, but I still did manage to like convince because I am the eldest, and I had been giving him so many reasons for me to like just take a chance and like just do modeling for quite some time and see to myself as to how much I like it and whether or not I'll be able to make it. That point in time, Facebook was a point of contact for a lot of fashion coordinators. So I was on Facebook and I was chatting with a lot of people. and I did get few modeling contracts. And then I used to take my parents everywhere I went. Fortunately, I don't know what it is. Every single modeling contract I did ended up being a very, very bad experience. Like, I worked for one of the designer, and he had to pay me money, and his check bounced. I didn't get money. And the other fashion coordinator, he was very, very creepy. I don't know how he even became a fashion coordinator, but he was extremely creepy. And the other incident was, we had to go to one of the fashion coordinator's house to meet and like to take measurements. So I always took my parents, it is either my mom or my dad with me. So that day I took my father, and we stepped into his apartment. His apartment was so bad, like it was full of smoke, full of cigarettes, and he also looked like very creepy, and someone who was not really a fashion coordinator at that point in time. I don't know what he was. All of this back to back incidents and stuff, I just thought to myself as to what am I trying to do. I'm putting both my parents in trouble by doing all of this, and I'm like fighting every single day with them in the house, just because of few things. Why don't I just like shut everything down and just study and do things that can give me a better life? So that is when I decided to not like step into modeling or do anything of that sort. So yeah, I just shut down everything else, and I decided to study further, and started taking my GRE lessons so that I can move to the US. Next question is, which college did you study here in Bangalore? I did my pre-university, which is PUC, in BMS College for Women, Baswangudi, and my engineering in Global Academy of Technology, Bangalore, Rajarajeshwari Nagar. Next question is, thoughts on California? Do you wish yourself in a different city? Apart from California, if I would trade to be somewhere else, would be New York City, because I absolutely love city life. But other than that, I just love California. I just love the San Francisco Bay Area. It's a beautiful place to live in. Every few miles you drive, you find a new destination spot that you can explore. Even the weather wise, it is very similar to Bangalore, no extreme weathers. So I absolutely enjoy and love staying here in California. But if I had to trade cities, then I would definitely think I would love to live in New York City. Next question is, when did you move to the States? I moved to the US, particularly California, in the year 2015, I think in the month of July, for my master's. So for this July 2025, it will be 10 years in the US. Oh my God, 10 years in the US. That's quite some time. The next question is, what's your biggest pet peeve? I honestly am okay with a lot of things, but if there was one thing I cannot tolerate, would be wearing outside footwear inside the house. It literally shakes my entire universe. Like, you wear the same shoes outside, walk outside, then use public bathrooms, and then come back home and wear the same shoes. Oh my God, I just cannot take it. Clean shoes are okay, new shoes are okay, but outside footwear, a big no. All the footwear goes outside the door. Especially in the US, it's like very normal for you to wear outside footwear inside the house. So I make it a point to like leave the footwear outside the house and never walk into anybody's house with the footwear on. Never. The next question, if you didn't live in California, US, which place you'd call home? If I didn't live here in California, the only place I would call home would be Bangalore, because I feel the most safest and most happiest. That's home anyways. So yeah, it will be Bangalore. The next question is, please talk about your fitness routine. I'll definitely make a detailed video on this very soon. Next question is, how did you become so rich? For some people, having $100K in their bank feels like they are super rich. For some people, having just 30,000 in the bank, they are very happy and they also feel super rich. So being rich is very subjective. But honestly, I am in a phase in my life where I am able to afford and buy things that I love. And it's because of hard work, dedication, and applying some strategies and investing when it comes to money. The next question is, how did you start as an influencer? I did not start as an influencer. I am very passionate about dancing. I love dancing. So I started recording dance videos and I started posting them on my social medias, both YouTube and Instagram. And then after a few years, I took a leap forward and I started teaching dance workshops in the Bay Area. And then, because I do a lot of self-care and a lot of skincare and other stuff, I started genuinely and organically sharing things on my Instagram channel. And then I started to explore and learn about different brands, and then it became like collaborating with them. So yeah, that's exactly how I started my creative journey. Next question is financial tips for young corporate girlies. So my dad would always say this growing up. He would say, if you earn 100 rupees, spend 40 rupees and save 60 rupees. So it's always 60-40, and the money you save, invest that in mutual funds, in stocks, so that it doubles up in a few years. It's very difficult to understand and learn that side of the financial business, but if you have your father or your parents or somebody in your circle who's been doing all of that, definitely reach out to them and understand how to manage your finances. Extremely important to start early so that it will give you financial security when you grow up. If there's 3 advices you would give to your younger girls, women, what would you say? 3 advices. First one would definitely be to invest the money you save. Invest, invest, invest. Learn on how you can invest your money that you have saved. It's very tempting to start spending your money as soon as you start making money. It's very, very natural and common, but you need to have that self control. It's not like I'm telling you to not buy anything and not enjoy your life or anything of that sort, but not at the cost of breaking your bank, going broke, and then starting from scratch. Don't do that to yourself. So yeah, invest your money. The second one would be to travel a lot, because travel actually opens up your brains. Literally, you start looking at different people, different mentalities, how people are outside of your own bubble. So travel is the best thing that you can do when you are young. So definitely travel. Third one would be, it's very natural, because at a very young age you are high in your hormones and you just want to have a boyfriend, and you end up spending a lot of time searching for the right soulmate, this and that. So half of your childhood, especially your precious 20s, go into searching for a boyfriend. Don't do that. Don't waste your time. Instead of that, start putting all your energies into taking care of yourself, eating well, going to the gym, taking care of your health, and the right person will find you. Don't take your things personally. Health is the most important. Don't stress out for anything in life, because if you turn back and look at the episode, you'll feel very silly and you'll feel like, for just this, I created so much problem in my head. Don't spend your precious teenage years, crying, stressing out on relationships and that and this. Yeah, that's pretty much the 3 advices that I would give. Next question is, are you a classical dancer? Yes, I am classically trained dancer. I learnt Bharatanatyam when I was 3 years old, and I did it for a couple of years, and then schooling happened, education happened, and then I quit. But yeah, I am a classically trained dancer. The next question is, what is your course of study in the US, and also how long are you staying in the US? So I did my master's in 2015. So I did it in electrical engineering from San Jose State University, California. And I've been in the US for about 10 years. How to start influencing as well, collaborate with different brands. So I would say, if you have an Instagram channel or an YouTube channel and it's open for public, start posting content and start genuinely and organically talking about the brands you love and the things that you use on a day-to-day basis. and start creating content consistently, and keep also tagging the brands that you personally love and follow. If the content reaches the brand, they will definitely reach out if there's a chance for any kind of collaboration. That's pretty much how you begin your content creation journey on Instagram and eventually land up a collaboration opportunity with a brand. Love your recommendations on dresses and stuff, but they are very expensive. Why do you prefer expensive dresses? Okay, so how do I answer this? I am a high maintenance girl. When I say high maintenance, I'm not telling that in a very bad intention. I know what I want, I have clarity, and I focus on quality over quantity, and I also don't compromise on quality. And I also have a mindset where I don't spend my money on unnecessary stuff. That being said, I even if I buy an expensive stuff, I just don't randomly start buying whatever I want. I am very careful about where I spend my money and what I buy and the things that I have in my wardrobe. If you see in my wardrobe, you will not find like 100 different clothes. You will only see like maximum 10 or 15 dresses. The way my mindset works is, instead of me spending small amount of money on 100 different dresses, I spend the same amount of money on buying just one dress and I will be done. And that is it. So that's how I started curating all the different clothes that now you see on my Instagram. If you have been following me for a really long time, you will know that I have been curating all these clothes one by one for many years. But if you are new and if you see me wear like different clothes that I tag, you'll feel like, how is she able to spend so much money? It's not something I bought in one shot. It's something that I have been curating over the years. So I have developed this mindset wherein I will only spend my money on things that I love and I will use. For me, it has to be long lasting. It's not something that I wear today and I'm throwing it tomorrow. I love repeating my clothes. So I also try to buy stuff that I can mix and match and repeat. So that's exactly how my mindset works. It's not about expensive stuff. If I like something and if I cannot afford at that moment, I will wait. I will start saving, and if I make enough money, and then I'll go and buy. I'm not very impulsive that way, that if I don't find something, I'll buy something else. That's not how my mindset works. And moreover, it's not just that I buy only high-end luxury bags and stuff. I also buy Charles & Keith. Charles & Keith is about like $60, $50 when it comes to the bags. And I also carry a lot of Charles & Keith shoes, which I always wear. So for me, it's not about the money, it's about the quality and whether or not I like the product. Since you did your master's from SJSU, aren't you pursuing engineering here? I did work for 3 years after I graduated my master's. Honestly, I did not enjoy any bit of it. It was very stressful and I was not happy at all doing the 9 to 5 job. Honestly, I am not made for 9 to 5 jobs at all. By nature, I am a very creative person and I love doing creative things on a daily basis. It can be editing, it can be dancing, performing. So I am that sort of person. So being confined to one cubicle and sitting in front of the laptop for 9 to 5 is not something that I enjoyed. Of course, it gave me a lot of money and financial security. I was at that point in my life where I had to choose between money or being peaceful and being happy. So I chose happiness, and I was lucky enough to switch my career. So yeah, pretty much that's how I've been doing my full-time content creation journey. I recently moved to the US. How do you deal with jealousy and back bitching women around you? Honestly, I have zero tolerance, zero energy to deal with people like that. I have developed a thick skin and I don't care about people like that. Honestly, if I come across people like that, it is very, very easy for me to cut them off. I don't feel anything. I was not like that before. I used to spend a lot of energy trying to convince them, trying to change their opinion about me and see me in a different light. I used to do all sorts of things. Then I realized that it is only draining you and taking away all your time and energy. So instead of doing all that, Just focus on your life, the things that you want, the things that you want to achieve, and focus all those energy on improving yourself, self care, taking care of your health and stuff, because dealing with those people is just waste of time. No matter how good you are as a person, people will still find something to talk about you, bitch about you, and maybe that's their way of being happy and being peaceful. So it doesn't matter, it's about them, it's not about you. So you focus on your work and the things that you want to do in your life, and keep improving as a person every single day. So yeah, it's very hard for you to cut off people like that if they are your best friends or your family. But honestly, let me tell you, it you will do yourself a great favor if you cut those people off. You'll feel so peaceful, you'll feel peaceful sleeping at night, and you will have all the energy in the world to do the things that are necessary for you to grow and become a better person. So definitely cut them off. What is the next on your jewelry watch wish list? Jewelry. I am currently looking at David Yurman bracelets. I love mixing metals. So I have the Cartier bracelets, I have the Ring Concierge mini diamond tennis bracelet. So next I'm looking at buying something silver for my stack. So I'm definitely looking at David Yurman. I still need to visit the store a couple of times and wear it and see before I end up buying it. Definitely David Yurman is next in my list. Watch, I'm still finding the next watch to buy. Somebody also asked me to talk about my watch collection. Guys, I don't have any watch. The only watch I have is Apple Watch, that is Series 2, which I got in 2017. So yeah, that's the only watch I have. I definitely want to invest in a nice watch, but I don't want to invest in a luxury watch right now because I don't have the habit of wearing a watch. So I just want to try budget friendly one before I invest in a luxury one. So I'm still finding the watch that I really like and suits my wrist. So the hunt is still on, but yeah, it's David Yurman in terms of jewelry and watch. I will keep updating on my Instagram. How did your obsession with perfumes begin? Which is your first big buy? I honestly don't know how my obsessions for perfumes started, but in general, I just love products that smell good, and I also like smelling good. So yeah, that's how I started my perfume journey, I guess. But the first big buy I got was last year in Paris. I've been eyeing the Byredo Mojave Ghost perfume for a really long time, but it's very, very expensive. And in Paris, again, it's tax free. So I made sure to put that in the Paris buy wish list. So I got my first perfume, my first Byredo perfume in Paris. And that was the expensive perfume that I purchased. And moreover, it's very silly to share this. I also like men perfume. I mostly feel like women perfumes are extremely floral. I'm not that floral also. I don't like those heavy hitting jasmine fragrance and stuff. I like something more subtle, something more oud and woody. So I also tend to pan towards men perfume. So I also share perfumes with my husband. He doesn't use mine, I use his perfumes. So the next big purchase would be from Creed, which he loves, and I got it for his birthday. So yeah, those are the two big perfumes, and also Diptyque. We both, my husband and I, we love Diptyque fragrances. So those are the expensive ones. But the first expensive purchase was Byredo's Mojave Ghost, which we got in Paris last year. Please tell us how you manage your finances for buying the luxury item. Honestly, whatever money I make and whatever money I can save, I invest them in stocks. Don't ask me which stocks I have invested in because I'm not a financial guru, but I do invest my savings, and whatever profit I make, I use that money on buying things that I want. So pretty much that's how I invest. And also I'm very, very careful about my luxury investments. I just don't buy anything random. I take my own sweet time. I visit the store multiple times and wear it and see whether or not I will like it. Maybe the 100th time I visit and I still like the bag, I will buy it. So I've been very meticulous and very careful about my luxury spending. That being said, I also sell my old bags, unused bags, before I buy new ones. So recently I bought my Bottega Veneta Andiamo bag. So to buy that bag, I had to sell like about 6 luxury bags I sold. So whatever money I made from selling those unused bags that I have, not that they had any issues with the bag. I absolutely love all the bags that I sold. They are in a new home and being treated well. But I personally was not using those bags anymore, so I sold them off, and whatever money I made from those bags, I invested in buying a new bag for myself. Basically, it's this routine that I follow whenever I buy my luxury items. Okay, so the last and the most asked question: how did you convince your parents for love marriage? Can you share your love story if you are comfortable to share? I am not comfortable to share, but I'm still going to go ahead and share because I get this question asked multiple times in my DMs. Are you married? Are you really married? Can you show your husband? Can you show your proofs? Can you show your marriage photos? Can you show your marriage look? So I thought it's better to once for all talk about this in the video and clarify that yes, I am married. I'm married to my best friend. Love story, it was not any kind of a fairy tale or filmy kind of love story, but it was no less than a fairy tale. I met him through mutual friends, and somebody also asked me what is that one quality that I like in my husband. So basically it was these qualities that attracted me towards him. He was extremely calm in his demeanor. He is very, very understanding, very, very supportive, zero ego, and he is extremely kind in the way he speaks to people. He's very knowledgeable, very very giving, and also very sensitive. So it literally ticked off all the things that I was looking for in my life partner, and I got very lucky that I met him. So yeah, it was a very simple and straightforward thing. He asked me, if you want to marry me, I said yes, and then we just got married. We told our parents. And how did you convince for intercaste? So he's from Rajahmundry and I'm from Karnataka, and of course we are from different castes, but fortunately we come from family backgrounds that don't care much about caste and stuff. We only focus on people, whether or not they are good and whether they are kind. It did not take much from us to convince them and tell them that we want to get married. They were very excited and very happy that we both met. And it went on very, very smooth. It's been 8 years of relationship and 7 years of marriage. So yeah, it's been a really long time knowing my husband, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I'm very happy, and yeah, hopefully you guys don't ask me this question again. I'm married to my best friend. Don't ask me for pictures and husband reveal because he is an extremely private person. He supports me with whatever I'm doing. He takes my photos, he takes my videos, and he's always there whenever I need him, but only off camera. He does not come on camera. He is very private and he likes to be like that, and that's why I respect his privacy, and I don't try to force him to come in front of the camera just because people are curious. So I don't want to do that. But yes, I am married and I'm married to my best friend.